It's usually often stated that theology like hyper-Calvinism shows God as a cruel tyrant and unfair and irrational. And other theologies aren't like that, such as the so-called free will theology, which I claim does not exist in Scripture and is a contradiction to God's sovereignty, hyper-sovereignty. What I want to show is that it's actually the other way around. It's actually the free will theology, which is completely irrational, shows God to be an unfair tyrant. If it were true, who wouldn't care about people that he creates? Unlike theology and that I've discovered systematically in Scripture. That's in my book. Just all verses, just what the Scripture says. That's all that matters. So anyway, let's go to this issue here. Here we see a verse where David claims he will see his son, he'll go to him. Will go into the afterlife and be saved forever. So therefore his son is too, his unborn son who was killed will also be there. So there's this view in Christian, sort of like the Sunday church theology, that kids that are aborted all go to heaven. And then there's these concepts of like, when do kids reach the age of accountability where they can be accountability to God? This stuff's all just made up. None of this is in Scripture. There's no date where it says at the age of 7.5 or something, someone's accountable. The point is, if the free will theology were true, then that would mean that someone who doesn't make their choice is burned in hell forever and tortured by God forever. Now, there's no Scripture to support any of this, as I've said in my book and umpteen videos. But I'm just saying, if it were, which is according to the free will theology, the Sunday church theology, then why would David's son get to avoid that? Or any unborn child that doesn't reach the quote, so-called quote, age of accountability and make their free will choice to choose God or not choose God? And the answer is that it would be completely unfair. So he brings up somebody through the world and doesn't show them enough to make their choice, where they can make the right choice, and then they get burned in hell forever, where David's son didn't have to have that. It's different. He's more special. And the person who had to make the choice, I guess, didn't get such grand treatment. David's son gets to bypass the world, like any aborted child, for example, or any baby that dies or whatever. It gets to bypass all this terror of the world. By the way, this is 2 Samuel 12:22, talking about David's his son with Bathsheba that was killed by God for the sin of adultery. So do you see, this is completely absurd, doesn't make any sense. This would be completely cruel of God to do this. Whereas you listening to this, you have to make your choice. And if you don't make your right choice, like apparently billions of people won't, then you don't get this same wonderful treatment. So the free will theology completely shows God to be incredibly unfair, incredibly cruel. The free will theology, as I pointed out before, is so popular because it puts man is God. It replaces God with man. Man is the one who calls the shots. Man is the one who determines his salvation. Man is the one who is in control, master of his destiny, just like the devil in the first sin of the garden, Ezekiel 28:17. So that's all that's going on here. So anyway, I think you get the point. Just another absurdity in the theology of lies which man has invented in this age where people reject sound doctrine. Here's 2 Timothy 4. The time will come, they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned into fables. So that's the age we're in. Here's one more chapter before, 2 Timothy 3. In the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. That's exactly what we just saw. Man invents his own religion now. Covetous boasters, proud blasphemers. See, he's a blasphemer. He replaced God. He's replaced God with himself. Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. They follow doctrines of devils.